So it is the penultimate race of the TNR 2021 Touring Car Championship season, and you could cut the atmosphere with a knife because it's all to play for between just three drivers now. You've got Mark in the Renault and Lee in the Renault teammates, and VX Dave, who lines up fifth for this one with just two races left to run. VX Dave is second in the championship, Mark is leading, and Lee is third at the moment. So this is all to play for, and it is the two Team Mochi cars that start on the front row, would you believe it, on the random grid. We'll see who's going to get away best as we look towards the lights. You can see lights on in the third place third place Mercedes Vandy, and he makes a really good start. Is he going to split the Renaults as they head into turn one? VX Dave meanwhile also making a good start, and it looks like he might come up to fourth place as they go through turn one. Andy makes a mistake though. The two Team Emochi cars are out in the lead. Andy's in third, but here comes VX Dave. He's already looking for an opportunity. I think he's going to try and get into third as they go into the Druids hairpin. For the first time he does do it, and there's almost contact, but there's a slide from Mark, and VX Dave gets up the inside of his championship rival, bounces over the curb as they head along the Cooper straight for the first time. Lee out in the lead though, but the Astra has gone from fifth to second place. Mark has dropped back a little bit, but he's still so close to his rival, and you've got Andy in fourth, Dubs in fifth, Graham in second of the Astras in sixth place as Mark looks to make a move already as they go down the back straight. Look how much more speed the Renault's got in a straight line. Now the Astra guys were saying they've maxed out their straight line as much as possible, reduced the downforce, but you could see the difference between the Renaults and the Vauxhalls there, and the Renault's so much faster down the straight. But for now VX Dave does hold on to the position, and in the background just behind them you can see there's battles going on between Andy and between Dubs and Graham, and oh, there's contact. There's both of the Mercedes are off. The Vauxhall sneaks through Graham, and now Andy's ahead of Josh. Andy and Josh right together on the track though, and as we go through the first lap, Lee has pulled out almost a second advantage over VX Dave, who's in turn got almost a second. Oh, there's contact though between these guys, and the Mercedes has been forced into the pits. I think that's Andy, and one of the Mercedes also into the pits as well. But Lee out in front in the Renault, he leads the race ahead of VX Dave and Mark. So all three championship protagonists in the top three positions, and Lee trying to stretch a lead over the Vauxhall, and of course Mark will be desperate to try and get back ahead of VX Dave, who is going to close up on the points if things finish as it stands at the moment. There's nothing VX Dave's teammate Graham could do at the moment. He's down in fourth place, a really good position, but a long way back from these boys as they head down the straight for the second time. Let's go on board with Mark, and we'll see what he can do in the Renault as he tries to put VX Dave under some pressure. Towards the end of the straight there, a lot of time gained back over the Astra. He turns into the Astra, bounces over the curb, so does the Renault, and not much to choose between them there. These guys being careful of track limits. VX Dave staying way off the curb there. That can really throw the car up in the air. You can see the brake lights on from Lee up ahead. And just for now, things settle down between these boys, and we'll have a little look back and see what else is going on, because there's a big battle over fourth place. Graham's lost out in the Astra, so Josh's Mercedes moves up to fourth place. He must have pulled a move on Graham, and we've got Dubs just behind Graham, so we've got Mercedes, Vauxhall, Renault there, all fighting over fourth place, but Josh having a storming run. Josh was actually mathematically in with a shout for this championship as they came in to the first race here today, but I think he's now out of that. And I just saw a puff of smoke from lock-up from Mark as he tries to chase down VX Dave for that second place. There's only 4 tenths between those boys at the moment. Meanwhile, the BMW boys, well, we got Oz in 8th place. BMW's not having the best run, but Oz doing quite a good job there. Diesel, unfortunately, struggling with his BMW at the moment. But out in front, the gap is now closing down for the lead. It's actually closing between these top 3 places. You've got Lee, who's looking a little bit like he's being caught by VX Dave, but VX Dave's definitely being caught by Mark. So all 3 of these boys really closing up, and there's now just over a second between the top 3, and it's going to be fascinating to see who wins this titanic duel. Well, it's more than a duel, isn't it? 'Cause there's 3 cars involved, and I think it's going to be really hard work for the piggy in the middle, because the other two are teammates, the other two Renault drivers, and they are probably going to do their best to gang up and make sure that Renault's come out on top here. But at the moment nobody's close enough to make a move on one another. They are absolutely gunning it. You saw the angle of attack from Lee's car going into the final turn, and from the Astra, and then from Mark's Renault as well. And this is fascinating stuff, but at the moment not close enough for moves to be pulled. Josh and Graham pulling away a little bit from the rest now, so we've got 4th and 5th for those guys. Dubs is in 6th at the moment, and I can tell you a little bit of trivia. Mark has won the most races this season. He's actually, as of the first race here today at Brands Hatch, he won 4 on the trot. Will he make it 5 on the trot with this race, I wonder, as he still tries to put pressure down from his 3rd place that he's in at the moment. He makes another good exit though, coming out onto the straight. Tries to chase down the Astra once more, and we'll go on board with Mark once more. You can see the straight line difference. It looked like they both had very even exits, but there's just nothing to choose between them. That extra weight of the Astra starting to hurt a bit. The Astra guys complaining just how quickly the tyres go off in that car, not helped by the additional weight on the cars. The Renault guys were quickest in practice here and are looking very, very fine in the race. Mark taking race 1 victory earlier today, and he really is trying to put VX Dave under some massive pressure now as we head back. Look at the straight line speed difference midway up the straight there. The Astra goes really sideways into the final turn, trying to get that car turn in, and here comes Mark. Well, he's got straight line advantage. Look at this, look how much he can challenge, and he goes to the outside. He's trying to lean on the Astra. They both touch a little bit. Mark gets he gets nerfed out into the gravel, but really the two cars just touching so lightly. There was room either side for both of them. VX Dave clearly trying to get the best racing line he could, but also Mark just trying to turn in a little bit. So the two of them just touched. Mark loses out this time, loses out this battle, but will he lose out the war? Because there is a long way to go yet in this, and he's now under some pressure from Josh, who's in 4th in the Mercedes. He's had a good season, Josh, and he's looking to wind up the championship in 4th place. I don't think he's going to be able to challenge any of the other guys for 3rd now in the championship, realistically. But as we head down the straight, it's actually Graham trying to put him under some pressure, because although the Astra is not particularly good in a straight line, neither is the Mercedes. It is the Mercedes Achilles heel, and he's found that difficult. He's gone in a little bit deep, the Astra. He's done a really good job there, Graham, trying to turn underneath him as they go up the hill towards Sterling's, and Graham's touching the grass, and the Astra turns it in beautifully. He's really, by the end of the season, Graham has really got a handle on that Astra, and he's driving the wheels off of it, getting the most possible out of it, but the guy's still struggling a little bit. You can identify Graham's Astra with the green flashes there on the wing mirrors and the wing and rear splitter, and a little bit around the front bumper. But look how quickly Mark has pulled away from them. He has got masses more pace, but VX Dave also going quicker than Lee at the moment, but there's quite a gap between Lee and VX Dave, and we gather that Lee has actually got a track limits infringement of 1 second, so VX Dave actually could be in contention for the victory here, but there's about 1.5 seconds, or just over a second, between the boys at the moment, so there's nothing guaranteed at the moment. Graham's now ahead of Josh in the background, so Astra back up to 4th ahead of A-Class, but out in front it's 1.5 seconds, so at the moment Lee is still on for a good victory here, and there's not anything VX Dave will be able to do apart from try and drive the wheels off the Astra, but it's all about keeping it clean. These boys all know this, and they don't want to be picking up track limits penalties if they can help it. It's a very minor one that Lee's got at the moment, which is good for him. Oh, Astra bouncing over the curbs, and we've just got 2 laps left to run at the end of this one, so we'll have to see what happens behind Mark. Well, we'll be able to see who's quickest out of these 3 boys as they come up across the line. We've watched the leader in his Renault and when he comes over the line we will see a lap time flick up. Last time was a 1:32.489, it's a 1:30.1. VX Dave in the Vauxhall does a 1:30.5, so he's not as quick as Lee at the moment, and it's a 1:30.9 for Mark, so Mark not able to stay on terms with the two leading boys at the moment in terms of lap pace. And then further back we've got Graham did a 1:32, Josh 1:34, obviously with a mistake on that lap. Fez is running a decent sixth at the moment with a bit of a rather dinched looking Renault. I suspect that's been through the wars. And there is Oz's BMW with a bit of dirt on it, but otherwise looking very neat and tidy. He's up to 7th place, so a good run actually in the BMW. Is Bad Robot in 8th, having a pretty good run himself actually. Dubs is 9th, Sam is 10th. Andy is currently 11th, having had that, I think it was a drive-through penalty. Oh, he's really struggling with grip, as you can see at this stage in the race. And out in front, I can tell you Lee's actually pulling further away from VX Dave at the moment. So, it's looking likely for another Renault victory. And of course, every point counts because it's all to play for in the championship between those top three. VX Dave and Mark looking most likely candidates to win the championship at the moment, but if Lee stays ahead of VX Dave, that's obviously going to help his teammate out on points. And we are on to the final lap. Lights ablaze on the Astra just behind, so it's still all to play for. There's still only the Astra needs to take about half a second out of the Renault on this lap, but I can tell you last lap around again Lee was quicker than the Vauxhall by about 1/10 of a second. Mark was about half a second or 3/4 of a second slower still. So these guys are absolutely on the pace at the moment. There is probably not very much more they can string out of these cars. And we watch Lee. Lee goes in a little bit deep though. That's not great because that's leading onto a long straight. And now all of a sudden VX Dave's well within that hallowed 1 second. They're 0.8 of a second apart as they head down the straight. They'll probably find the Renault pulls out a little bit more as it heads down the end of the straight. It does. Just before the braking zone we're back up to 8/9, but Lee runs wide again there. That's going to lose him confidence, even though it's not lost him much in the way of time, and we could be in for a photo finish as we head down the hill and then back up towards Sterling's, the right hander, and they bounce over the curves, both of them. The Astra absolutely smashing over the curves. There's over a second between them now though. Lee's pulled it back out. Lee could do this, he could hold on to this. Remember, he's got that 1 second penalty. It's just within a second now though, just over a second now. It's all about the last corner. Lee bounces over the curb, gets it really neat and tidy. We didn't really see how the Astra came out, but the Astra's come out really well. They're within a second. It's 8/9 of a second as they cross the line, and VX Dave takes the win as they come across the line ahead of Lee. Not on track but on time, and Mark is 3rd place. So the championship is so very much alive between these boys now. Graham 4th, Josh will be 5th in the Mercedes. He slides across the line. Oz is going to get 6th at the line in the BMW. A great drive from Oz ahead of Fez in the Renault. Bad Robot, his teammate, also in the Megane. And then we've got Dubs and Sam, teammates, who are going to smash across the line in 9th and 10th respectively, the final point scorers. And then a little way behind that we have got Andy just coming through the final turn in the Renault, in the Mercedes, and Diesel will finish out the runners as he comes up to the line in his BMW.